Good morning and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Friday morning. I hope everybody's got some nice things planned for the weekend. But before obviously you get to go and do those things, we've got a massive show for you guys today. On the show, we're going to be talking a little bit about Jim Ratcliffe's first big meeting with the Manchester United players, the Manchester United training staff, and Erik ten Hag with some really, really interesting comments coming out from some people who were apparently in that meeting. So we will be talking a bit about that. We'll also be talking about Jadon Sancho and Anthony Martial. It looks like both of those players will be heading out of the exit, with Jadon Sancho's move to Dortmund going to be announced today. Apparently, that's what I'm hearing. So we'll be talking a bit about that. Obviously, in relation to Martial, there was a story from Sky Sports last night saying that he's going to sign a new contract, which I've been doing a bit of digging on. And it doesn't actually appear to be true. So we'll be talking a bit about that. Lots of other stuff to get into on the show this morning. And as always, I invite you to have your say on all things Manchester United in the comments section below. So make sure you get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. And I've set a target for this video to try and hit 200 likes on today's video. So please do make sure to smash a like on the video if you haven't already. And let's hit that target on today's video. Right, let's start off with Jadon Sancho then. So Fabrizio Romano came out, I think it was about 5 or 6 hours ago, saying that Jadon Sancho is, let me get the quote for you. So the direct quote is this. It says, Jadon Sancho will travel to Marbella to join Dortmund's camp on Friday. It says final details are being discussed with Man United. It's now on the final steps of the negotiation. The fee will be around €4 million between loan and salary coverage. Sancho waiting for the green light to travel today. So Sancho's as good as gone. €4 million. We spoke about this before. I think it's an absolute joke, to be honest with you. Jadon's on 250 grand a week. He's got 6 months away in Dortmund. 6 months on 250 grand a week is about £6.5 million. And we're only going to receive €4 million. So they're effectively going to pay for about half of his wages for 6 months. Now, if I play devil's advocate, if he goes there, and he continues the form that he had prior to coming to Manchester United, then you've probably got yourself a 40, 50 million pound player there, right? Either option A, you sell him in the summer for 40, 50 million pounds, or option B, he comes back to United, potentially with us having a new manager, and he starts his career again at United. So when you look at it like that, he is getting a new opportunity. I just have this really strange underlying feeling that he's going to go there and it's not going to work, and then in the summer he'll be our problem again. Now, some of you might say, oh, that's you just being negative, like, maybe I'm just being pessimistic. I don't know why, I just have this feeling. I just think, when was the last time Manchester United did a loan move and it worked? When was the last time we did a loan move and everyone said, oh, that was such a great loan move, we've just sold the player for double what they were worth before? Usually they go off on loan and they come back even less desirable than when we loaned them out in the first place. You think of Donny van der Beek when he went to Everton, that didn't work. You think of Martial when he went to Sevilla, that didn't work. You think of, the only one I can really think of at the moment is Mason Greenwood, but Mason Greenwood was a good player before this whole incident happened. It wasn't like he was a rubbish player, we sent him out on loan and he turned into a good player. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't think loans really seem to work with Man United. I don't know why. We just have to hope that this one is the kind of the diamond in the rough, and Jadon goes back to Dortmund, and he has a great second half of the season, and we can sell him for a decent amount of money because we invested 70 plus million in this guy a couple of seasons ago, and we need to recoup some of that money desperately. We need to get him off the books. We need to stop paying his wages, and we need to just move forward. I don't really want Jadon Sancho back at Man United. I don't want people in and around that dressing room who think it's okay to call out the manager. Like, I just don't think that's all right. Ariz says, what would you do if Jadon Sancho is fantastic at Dortmund? I mean, if he's fantastic at Dortmund, I would then try and sell him, to be honest. And I think you would be able to comfortably sell him. If he goes to Dortmund and has an incredible second half of the season, I think you can probably sell him for 40, 50 million is my kind of, prediction. But at the same time, I think it's genuinely 50-50 as to whether Erik ten Hag will still be here in the summer. I just have this feeling that Jim Ratcliffe, Paul Mitchell, Jean-Claude Blanc, I feel like they have a manager in mind that they want. And I feel like, we can hear all these signs that Erik ten Hag's job's safe and and all the rest of it. But you know what it's like when a new owner comes into a football club. They always want to change the manager. And sometimes it's managers who are doing well. And Erik ten Hag, let's be honest, is not doing well. So it's not exactly a difficult decision. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I just have this feeling that Jadon Sancho will end up back at United in the summer. And whoever the new manager might be will be told that they have to make it work with Jadon Sancho, because Man United would have ultimately invested so much money in this player. And we know that Jim Ratcliffe apparently wants to focus on British homegrown players, apparently, or people who have Premier League experience. That's what we've heard. So when you've got Jadon Sancho, 23 years of age, touted as one of the best up-and-coming players in world football a couple of years ago, and ultimately Man United have failed him, I can see Jim Ratcliffe trying to make it work. But that's just my opinion. Obviously, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Obviously, I wish him all the best, because I want him to give us back some resale value. But at the same time, I do feel like we've enabled Jadon Sancho. I feel like we've given him what he wanted. He's refused to play for us for 2 or 3 months whilst earning 250 grand a week to sit on FIFA. And now he's just got his dream move back to Dortmund. Like, we've completely facilitated this guy. We've enabled him. And it is frustrating, but there's not really much we can do about that. Fred says, is this the standard of deals we can expect from Jim Ratcliffe? If so, no change is coming. Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. Fair point. Sorin says, I hope Sancho plays amazing and then we can sell him to Chelsea for 70 plus million. Apparently Sancho is a Chelsea fan. I didn't know that, but yeah, it's a good comment. Gihan says, new owners always have a man they want in place. I just hope it's not Graham Potter. He will sink like the Titanic. He's won nothing and never will. Yeah, that's my fear, mate. That is my fear. I think if Graham Potter becomes the manager of United, it will be very, very difficult to stay positive, to be honest. Like, it's difficult enough at the moment to think about Manchester United in a positive light, because let's be honest, there isn't really anything positive going on, really, is there? The stadium's falling apart. The playing squad's not good enough. We've got most of the squad are overpaid. We've got so much deadwood. You've got all of these situations, like the Greenwood situation, the Anthony situation. We haven't got any money. We're out of Europe. Like, when you actually, if you got a piece of paper and you did a column of positives and a column of negatives, I don't think there'll be many things in the positive column at the moment, to be completely honest, would there? Maybe you'd put Kobe Mainoo in there. Maybe you'd put Garnacho in there. We'll have to wait and see. There's an interesting tweet that's just come out from Fabrizio Romano talking about Dybala. Obviously, we spoke about Dybala on the show a couple of days ago, and that Man United might try and sign him as a striker in the January window. Now, Fabrizio has confirmed this. He says the release clause in Dybala's contract is 12 million euros, and it's active now until January the 15th. He says there's also a 12 million release clause valid from January the 1st to January the 31st. It says if a club from outside of Italy triggers the clause, the decision will be up to Paolo. So there is a chance United go in for Dybala. I mean, so they've got about 10 days to trigger this release clause. 12 million euros. Let's do a poll on that, shall we, quickly? Whilst I set up the poll, everyone smash a like on the video. Okay, so this is the question. What do you... Let's try and hit 200 likes on today's video, guys. Please smash a like. I'm just going to set up a poll really, really quickly. Dybala. All right, I'm just setting up a poll. Give me 1 second, guys. Werner, loan. All right, poll set up. So for anybody watching back on repeat, you can let me know in the comment section. For anybody who's watching live, do get involved in the poll and obviously put your thoughts in the live chat. So the question is, who do you want to sign in the January transfer window? These are the 4 options we have. These are the only 4 people that we are currently linked to. So you've either got Dybala, who's available for 12 million euros. That's what Fabrizio has literally just tweeted in the last couple of minutes. £10 million, 12 million euros for Dybala, available now. I think he is 29. Am I right? Or is he a bit younger than that? He's 30 years of age. Obviously, Still in the Argentinian national team. I mean, he's got 10 goals and assists in 12 games in the Serie A. Very, very good. He can obviously play as a striker, centre forward, or a right winger. So you've got that as option one. Option two is obviously Guirassy, who also has a release clause valid in January. 17.5 million euros, which is about 15 million pounds. Guirassy this season obviously is second in the Bundesliga for goals scored. He's got 17 goals in 14 games and 1 assist, and he is 27 years of age. So he's 3 years younger than Dybala. But the big issue with him for me is obviously he is going to be going to the Africa Cup of Nations. So if we signed him in January, we probably wouldn't actually get him until kind of mid to late February. So he's option two. Option three, Werner on loan. Obviously didn't really work for Timo Werner at Chelsea. This will be a 6-month loan with Red Bull Leipzig. He hasn't really had a good season, to be honest. He's not really been playing for Leipzig. He's got 2 goals in 14 games. Not really that good. He would be a short-term loan option until the summer, 27 years of age. And then the final option is Choupo-Moting, obviously, who plays for Bayern Munich. 33 years of age. I don't think he really gets picked for Bayern, to be honest. Obviously, they've got that young guy coming through. Is his name Tell or something? I think he's been playing most of the minutes. I mean, this season, he's got 2 goals in 19 games, Choupo-Moting. So both Choupo-Moting and Timo Werner are kind of in the same camp. They've got a couple of goals in 15 to 20 games, whereas Dybala and Guirassy have both been contributing, whether that's been with assists or goals. Let me know in the comment section, if you're watching this back, who would you prefer to go for? And obviously, if you are watching this live, please do get involved in the poll. I will circle back to that in a minute. Right, let's talk about Sir Jim Ratcliffe then, because there's some really, really interesting quotes that have come out after his interview with the rest of the squad yesterday. So this is a direct quote from The Athletic, who have apparently got a source that was inside this meeting yesterday. And they've said that Jim Ratcliffe has told United staff that financial gain is not his objective with this deal. He's only interested in returning the club to a position where they can win trophies again. It says Ratcliffe's blunt evaluation of the club was a stark contrast to the opinions that the Manchester United hierarchy typically use, and was welcomed by those listening. Jim Ratcliffe has acknowledged Manchester United's commercial resilience throughout the pandemic, but made it clear that silverware is a greater gauge of success, and everyone should be focusing on that. Sources described this meeting as liberating. Those who attended today's meeting felt left feeling inspired, but still remain cautious about how the new plans would be implemented. It was felt that Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford applied pressure to perform, but also encouraged people to be part of the change. I mean, it sounds great, doesn't it? That football should be ahead of money and trophies are the most important thing and all of this. But until we actually see it happening, it's all just words. I don't know. Just somebody who's... The way I see this, right, is you can say one thing, but your actions say something different. If this is what he genuinely wants to happen, then why is he not clearing the debt? If this is what he genuinely wants to happen, why are we not selling players and buying players in the January window? If this is what he genuinely wants to happen, why is he only buying 20% of the club? Now, I know that people will say, oh, well, that's all the Glazers wanted to sell, all the rest of it. I just think that we're still going into this rebuild with our hands tied behind our back. Like Newcastle, Man City, all of these other clubs have an open checkbook, whereas we're still operating in a very, very difficult way. We've got nearly €1 billion, about £700 million worth of debt over our head. We can't operate the same way as Man City or Newcastle do because of that debt that's on us. And I just think that if he'd walked into the club and said, I'm clearing all the debt, this is a new beginning, we're going to focus on trophies now, I'm not going to let dividends be taken and all the rest of these things, you'd say, I mean, that's a good start, but none of that's happened. Dividends are apparently still going to be taken, but apparently not for the first or second year. The dividends will be taken by the Glazers, not Jim Ratcliffe, by the way. So I just think it's a little bit like words. And I think that his actions so far, I just want to see things happen. I want to see Jean-Claude Blanc announced. I want to see Sir Dave Brailsford, getting Paul Mitchell and Rich, what's his name, David Ashworth. Like, these things need to start happening because, yeah, it's just words for me at the moment. But let me know what you guys think. Al says, what happened to Gift Orban? I really don't know what happened to him. I know a lot of you in the chat really wanted to see Marcus Leonardo, and I did as well, obviously a young Brazilian striker. He has apparently just signed for Benfica for only 18 million euros. He'll probably end up in the Premier League in the next couple of years. They just paid about £15.5 million for him. There's pictures of him holding up the shirt. So anybody who wanted Marcus Leonardo, he is officially gone to Benfica. 18 million euros, a contract until 2029. So that's out of the way. Gift Orban is still playing in the Belgium league. I mean, Gift Orban hasn't had a particularly good season this year. In 17 games in the Belgian league, he's only got 3 goals. So maybe we dodged a bullet with that one. Like 3 goals in the Belgian league, that's not really very good, is it? I know he was very good last season. I know he was putting up really good stats in last year, but to be only getting 3 goals in the Belgian league, like in about 17 matches, that's a goal every 6 matches. Like, that's not very good, is it? Let's be honest. So maybe United have just forgot about that one. Al says, why would a 25% minority shareholder pay off the club's debt? Because what could happen, the same way in which he's investing this £200 million into the club, Jim Ratcliffe, he's not just giving Man United that money, he's getting more stocks from the Glazers. So he's bought 12.5% of the Glazers shares. He's buying 12.5% of the shares off the New York Stock Exchange. And then for an additional 200 million investment, I think he's getting around another 3 or 4% of the Glazers shares. So that's gone very, very quiet, actually, this story. Like, no one really seems to know about this. So he won't have 25%. He's going to have closer to 30%. And the reason for that is because he's investing around 200 million back into the club now, in exchange for 4%, 3 to 4% of the Glazers shares. So people saying, why would he clear the debt? Well, he could say, right, I'll put 800 million into the club, but I want X amount of shares. And that could happen. And that's what kind of is happening at the moment. Let's see what people are saying. Soren says, it will be a loan player. I would take Benjamin Sesko for 6 months. I don't know why people keep saying Benjamin Sesko. Like, why would they loan him out? Is that what's being talked about? I've not heard a single word about Benjamin Sesko. I mean, again, he's got 3 goals in 13 Bundesliga matches this season. Like, his stats are as bad as Timo Werner's. They're as bad as Choupo-Moting. They're worse than Dybala's. They're worse than Guirassy. Like, why would you loan Benjamin Sesko, who's got 3 goals in the Bundesliga, when you could go and get Guirassy, who plays in the same league and in the same amount of games has got about 17 goals? Like, I know that Benjamin Sesko is a more kind of trendy name. He's a more hip name. I know we've been linked to him in the past, but if you've got one player, Benjamin Sesko, if you've got Guirassy, right, he scored 17 goals and got 1 assist in the same amount of games as Benjamin Sesko. Like, I don't really get it personally, but obviously, let me know. If that's who you want, then that's obviously up to you. But Peter said, yeah, lots of people saying, is Sesko available on loan? Jihan says Sesko is up for loan. We need to get him. Try before you buy. Talk is cheap. I need to see action right now. I'm not convinced by Benjamin Sesko, to be honest. Like, 3 goals in 14 games in the Bundesliga. Like, is that really very good? I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Like, why would you not just go and get Guirassy, who's got 17 goals in 14 matches, versus loaning Benjamin Sesko, who's got 3 goals in 14 matches? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me. So, but obviously that's up to you. Somebody says the Sesko hype is dead, and his form has shown he's a nonsensical player. Yeah, fair enough. Moise says we should sign a centre-back, a CDM, a centre-back and a striker in this window if we want to finish the season strong. Yeah, I would agree with that. We spoke last night on the show at length about Oscar Zambrano, the 18-year-old from Ecuador. Now, from what I'm hearing this morning, Bournemouth have just put in a bid of £5 million for Oscar Zambrano. So it might be another one that we miss out on, and in a couple of years' time, he's worth 50-60 million pounds. That's usually the way it goes for United. Fabrizio confirms that Bournemouth have submitted a bid of £5 million for Oscar Zambrano. Sorry, $5.5 million. I don't know what that is in pounds. Probably around £5 million, roughly. I mean, people will say, "Oh, he's going to Bournemouth. He's going to Bournemouth." Like, he clearly isn't good enough. I don't really think that's a good a good outlook anymore, because when Moises Caicedo went to Brighton, I'm sure people were like, "Oh, he ended up in Brighton. He's clearly not good enough." And then you saw how well he turned out there. So I don't really agree with that whole thing. Onika says, "Do you think Erik ten Hag will start Bayinda after the press conference?" I mean, Bayinda has to play. Bayinda has to play against Wigan. He really, really does. Like, what was the point in bringing him to Manchester United if you're not even going to bother playing him? I just think it's a bit embarrassing, to be honest. But, it is what it is, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see. Right, final story of the day before we wrap up the video is about Anthony Martial. So, obviously, last night, Sky Sports put out a story saying that he was going to sign a new contract at Man United, and obviously that caused a lot of upset in the fan base, from me included. The headline this morning is that Man United expect Anthony Martial to leave the club in the summer, despite suggestions of a new deal. He goes on to say that United are not planning to offer Martial a new contract. Martial is set to be released on a free when his deal expires in the summer, if he does not find a new club this month. There you go then. That's that. It looks like he will be going. I don't know why Sky Sports are leading with this story that he's going to sign a new contract. It seems a little bit strange. There is a couple of people this morning saying that apparently a Saudi club is in talks to sign him in January. Will that happen or not? I don't know. If it was an option, I would do it now. I would let him go to Saudi and kind of get that out the way. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Right, let's go through the results of the poll really, really quickly. So the question was, who do you want to sign in January? 46% of you want to get Guirassy for €17.5 million. 31% of you want Dybala for €12 million. 18% of you want Timo Werner on loan. And 5% of you want Choupo-Moting. There you go. That'll be it for today, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me. Please do make sure to hit the like button before you go. It really helps to bring more people into the channel. So please go and do that. Don't forget to subscribe as well if this is your first time watching. Doesn't cost any money. Live every morning and every evening. So do get involved if this is your first time. Have a lovely day, everybody. Happy Friday, and I'll speak to you all later.